This is Heartland Focus with Tim Clark.
Good morning and welcome to Heartland Focus. I'm your host, Tim Clark. Hey, there's been a lot of movement here in the state of Nebraska as we continue to battle COVID-19, as we look at dispersing the ARPA funds. There's a lot of opportunity that lie in front of us as we look at not only continuing to mitigate this crazy virus, but also look at things that will help provide some stimulus for movement and for building infrastructure and really some of the areas that's been most challenged with the pandemic and hit the hardest. I have with me our Senator Justin Wayne. He's gonna join us right now. I want to welcome him. Welcome, Senator Wayne.
Welcome. Thank you for having
me. Hey, man, I tell you, I really want to first, before we start the conversation, say to you and Senator Terrell McKinney, I really thank you. I thank you for putting forth a huge opportunity to change the negative discourse of North Omaha, and you're calling it the North Omaha Recovery Plan. And so with that, man, big ups. You got a collar, you go ahead and pop it. I'm gonna pop mine. I know it's not, the work is still, there's a lot of work to be done. But first of all, once you at a high level, tell our viewers what it is that you guys are trying to accomplish with such a bill.
Oh, again, thanks for having me. Really what we're trying to do in this situation is we're trying to create jobs, and we're trying to make a business case of how to improve North Omaha and South Omaha. We've been working with Senator Vargas to incorporate South Omaha into this conversation too. So it'll probably be amended to the North and South Omaha Recovery Act. But what we're really trying to do at a high level is create jobs. We recognize that we can't socially engineer our way out of the poverty that's in North and South Omaha. But we know that we can create jobs, and by creating jobs, we can move the needle on this poverty issue and the social symptoms that come from poverty.
Right on. So I love where you're pointed and where you're at, and I think jobs is our way out, especially if we dare to focus on H3s, high demand, high skill, and high wage. So this bill is big, 400. Some may say, well, are you guys crazy? $450 million? Are you kidding me, Senator Wayne? Kind of talk about why this amount, and in your estimation, is it big? I mean, is it not enough?
It's actually not enough. We estimate $1 billion is needed to be injected into this area, and we're only at 450. But to put that in perspective, we're talking about building a $500 million lake. We're talking about $600 million to build a canal to Colorado. And the thing about these ARPA funds is the federal government has said we are going to prioritize qualified census tracts. And those qualified census tracts, we have about 52 in Nebraska. Over 30 of them are in North and South Omaha. So the federal government said this is a priority. And it's $1.3 billion that we as a state are getting for ARPA dollars. So it's not too big. It's almost a little too small. But the key is we're not throwing money just to throw money. We have a targeted plan. We are going to build a new North Omaha Airport Business Park. We are going to invest in about 400 to 600 jobs that we'll be able to create around that park directly. Indirectly, we're looking at additional 500 jobs, and these are high-paying jobs. We are looking at moving the needle and moving people out of poverty to be successful. And I think when you talk about success, when you talk about jobs, you talk about changing a whole community.
Now, Senator Wayne, tell me, kind of break it down a little bit in terms of the different categories of funding that you guys really want to prioritize. And I know you just talked about jobs, but also you have infrastructure, services. So kind of break that down and what that may look like and how that might impact that community, both South Omaha and North Omaha.
So we'll start with the business park. Business park area that's kind of our economic generator for North Omaha that we're gonna put in and establish down in the 16th Street area. We got to redo the sewer system, and that's where we're going to partner with the city. The city has already committed to redoing the infrastructure as it relates to sewer, streets, and those kind of things, and we'll help get those sites shovel ready for businesses. As it relates to like the 24th and Lake area, 30th Street, we are looking at affordable homes, and we are trying to create home ownership. So you got business, home ownership. One of the quickest ways, most effective ways to build wealth is to own a home. And we are trying to move the needle and take those people who are paying $1,500, $2,000 a month in rent, but never had the opportunity for maybe lack of a down payment, lack of a deposit, and put them in homes. They have a great history of paying rent every month for the last 10 years, but could never build enough disposable income to put a deposit down on a house. Let's figure out how to bridge that gap and get some wealth into our community. And there's another piece about healthcare. We're partnering with the county to make sure that we focus on mental health services. We know one of the biggest mental health institutions is our Douglas County Jail. And so we are going to work with the Douglas County commissioners to focus on mental health and bring either a mental health facility or a more of an outpatient facility to North and South Omaha. And the last piece is just training. With our current programs, we believe we can scale up almost 5,000 people over the next 3 years from low-income jobs that keep them in poverty to high-income jobs. And when I say high, I mean out of poverty. I mean a livable wage that they can have disposable income. They can take their kids to the movies and they can maybe go out and have some dinner. And that overall disposable income changes how North Omaha and South Omaha operate.
Man, that is huge, and that is a vision and mission worthy of all of our attention. And I think, Senator, some folks probably that really live on the outside or senators on the west, but I think your thoughts about if we do this, how does this impact the state? Sometimes the senators that can't feel and touch it, they're not in it. But how does this have impact in terms of just the lifting the state up?
So the one thing I've learned as a state senator over the last 5 years, I've been there for 6, but I traveled the state a lot, usually by truck or car. And if we can generate money out of North Omaha, and with the chamber and the state economic development department, they actually did a feasibility on what's in our study. And they believe it can bring in about $700 million per year once this is up and running. And how that affects the state is it brings more revenue to the state and the city. But the bigger thing is if we can get it right in North Omaha, if we can get it right in South Omaha with infrastructure, housing, and jobs, then we can take that same model and get it right in Oglala, Scotts Bluff. We can take it anywhere across the United States because the issue of poverty and those social determinants that come from poverty, whether it's drug use, whether it's mental health, whether it's poor education system or just social ills health-wise, we can start narrowing the gap everywhere and use North Omaha as the model.
Yeah, that's strong. As our friend said in the testimony, Randy Goodwin, help us help you. In terms of just, and that's so true. We do right by North Omaha. It will have effects in terms of this whole state. And one of the things that Chief Smotter that was there testifying, he said, you know what, I'll take 1,000 jobs any day over 1,000 police officers. and because it's just, I mean, so I think you're just point on with those categories, Senator Wayne. We're going to take a break. When we come back, let's talk about really how can people help? How can the folks that's watching this, let's give some thought to now is moving people to action. How do we impede to action? Stay with us, and we'll come back with that in terms of the senator sharing how you can get in the game and be a part of the solution and really this recovery plan, particularly for North and South Omaha. Stay with me. I'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Heartland Focus. My guest, Senator Justin Wayne. Hey, thanks, Justin. Again, man, this has been very meaningful as we look at this whole recovery strategy, particularly for North Omaha, with a focus on North Omaha, and then also adding South Omaha as well. People out there, before we get into what they can do to help, but folks that are, they look at these two pockets of our city and say, hey, most crime, most poverty, having babies out of wedlock. I mean, it's just all these social ills that we hear from the outside looking in. How might this help? I mean, people are looking for solutions. Is this a viable solution?
This is, I believe, one of the only solutions. When you talk about crime, you talk about pregnancies out of wedlock and those kind of social ills, people deem ills. Jobs are the way that we change it. I truly believe that if people have good paying jobs, 90% of our social issues go away. And it's real simple. You got to get up and go to work every day, so you can't hang out too late at night. You got extra money in your pocket, so you and your spouse aren't arguing and feeling all the tension of bills not being paid. And you and your kids can have a better relationship because you can go do things. And that's really simple. And no, money is not be all end all, but you got to have a baseline where your needs are getting met to do those basic things. And that starts with a good paying job.
Yeah.
Chief, like you said before, Chief Smarter said it best. He'd rather have 1,000 jobs in North Omaha than 1,000 more police.
Yeah. Because
everybody knows that if people have good paying jobs, crime decreases, education goes up, and the overall health of the community, which we call social capital, goes up. And so this plan addresses all those areas that people are concerned about when it comes to North Omaha and says, then let's create some jobs. And we have companies that are waiting for this airport project to start so they can move in.
Yeah. And with me, working for Metropolitan Community College, I tell you, it falls right in line with the strategy of how do we skill up, and training and all those short-term certification programs, long-term associates, and so we can skill up the population. And you're talking about, on an average, Senator, probably about $45,000 to $50,000 in terms of these, a lot of these skills. Let's give some context to, it is, we're celebrating Black History Month. Can you give some context to really from a historical, even right here in Omaha, of where we've been, where we're at, and really why this feeling like, I don't know about you, but I feel like we've been stuck from the past to now. Give some context to our history as it relates to what it is that you're trying to do. And I know, we didn't talk, but we're just doing this off the cuff, but you're an attorney and you pivot very well. So go give some context to that, man, because it is relevant of what has happened in our past and what we're still dealing with right now.
Yeah, correct. And the relevant part of it is we've never, as a community, particularly African Americans in Nebraska, but nationwide, we've never built our own economic independence. If you look at every other culture that came to America, they've built their economic independence first before they truly integrated. That way they had a sense of home but they had a sense of identity, and they were able to bank and move up in this capitalistic world. We've never did that. We fought to assimilate and to join at the education level, like Brown v. Board of Education. But what Dr. King said toward the end of his life was, we need economic integration. We need to make sure that we can participate in this economy. And that is where we've struggled. And what we hope to do with this plan is to create economic integration throughout Omaha.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that. And when you think about that economic integration, people tell stories of the Black Wall Street in terms of Oklahoma, and every time has been an attempt to build from within, really this country has failed to protect its citizens. And as we were able to experience in the 60s in terms of North Omaha, where there was once was a Black vibrant community that just don't exist anymore. But I really think when you think about the social injustice, and we were at a place where the consciousness is there as far as empathy, wouldn't you say, Senator, this is work time? So you can have empathy, but when do you move from empathy to actually work?
Right. And so the phrase that I continue to use in the body is, we have to get a little comfortable being uncomfortable. And it's uncomfortable to look at a community and say, we're going to put $450 million in. But when you look at the historical context of it, it needs to happen. So we got to get a little uncomfortable. We got to get a little comfortable being uncomfortable about investing in things that will fundamentally change people's lives.
Yeah, and like you said, Senator, I mean, I got a chance to listen to and watch the Appropriation Committee when they were hearing the governor's list of items, and there was a lot of money being spent. And I think this whole notion of being uncomfortable, what you're talking about, I think we also got to say, okay, we've had many turns. We've had our turn for years and years. Can we sacrifice a little bit and say, dang, it's North Omaha's turn. Let them have a shot at building the infrastructure and capacity so they can create a commerce, they can create some economic vitality where they can become strong from within. It's like, can you sacrifice $500 million on $450 million? And what I heard you say too, that's not enough. As we look at the neglect over the many, many, many years. So talk to me about what's the action, what can people do to help make sure this happens?
The biggest thing they can do right now is contact their senator, say they support LB 1024. We need to make an investment. And we're not starting social programs. We are making an investment that we are going to get a return on that investment over the next 3 to 5 years, and for the rest of everybody's lives. But over the next 3 to 5 years, we are going to make this investment to fundamentally change North Omaha and South Omaha. And so contact your senators, email them, call them, and let them know to support LB 1024, because it's our time. It's time for big and bold ideas, and it's time to make sure that we grow Nebraska, but we grow it for everybody.
Yeah,
not just the selected few.
Right on, and taken from a line from the late Michael Jackson, "This is it," and
right.
and I'm hearing, I don't know what the beat. I'm a musician, I'm an artist, so I use beats and harmonies and things like that. But the word on the street is it's time for North Omaha to win big, and so I thank you, man. Absolutely.
You're welcome. I think it's important to note that this isn't a Justin Wayne plan. This is This is a plan that we are working with the county, the city, nonprofit groups. We have a whole entire community aligned, and over 42 people showed up and testified in different categories. And that's the kind of movement we have right now. Now it's time to capitalize.
Wow. So are you telling me that there's total alignment? So with city council, the mayor's office, Douglas County, that alignment is there?
The mayor sent a letter. The mayor sent a letter of support. The city council sent a letter of support, and Chris Rogers came down and testified on behalf of himself, but also the commissioners are in support. So we are all moving in the same direction.
Man,
it is time.
No. Well, man, hey, we're gonna watch it. Not only watch it, we're gonna be actively involved in it. And there again, you said, hey, how people can help. Contact your senators, even if you have no purpose. You don't have no, you don't have to live in North Omaha to care about North Omaha, to care about how do you live in some of our most challenged areas. So call your senators and ask them to support it. I think that's what I'm hearing you're challenging people to do.
Correct.
Right on. Hey, man, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time. And most definitely looking forward to having you come back and really in celebration of the accomplishment. But let us know at any time how we can be helpful, okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Right on. Hey, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll wrap up. This is Black History Month, and so I want to spend some time talking about really what's happening and the significance of back then, now, and where do we need to go. Stay with me.
I was looking to move to be around more people.
I love being able to be social with my friends.
I like being here because everyone's so accommodating.
I love being here because I still have full independence to do as I please. This is home.
Remington Heights. It's what you deserve.
Family, all in this together. Family, we're taking a chance. Family, like birds of a feather. Family, kick off your shoes and dance. Hey!
Some traditions just keep getting better and better. Ford F-Series, the official truck of the NFL, and America's best-selling trucks now for the 45th year in a row.
Hey, welcome back to Heartland, folks. I'm your host, Tim Clark. Hey, this is Black History Month, and I want to, if you had not had a chance to visit D.C. to attend the National Museum of African American History and Culture, is breathtaking. Absolutely, please take the time and go learn about the significance of the African American culture and contributions that it made in terms of just really helping to build this country, but really shape it and really impact the world in terms of African American culture. I think we're gonna play, or just you can see, we're gonna show this video real quick so you can see this a little bit. I think we can blow it up there. Yeah, as you can see there, there's someone speaking there, but they have, I believe it's like 4 different levels. You start from first level, and then you go all the way up, and it really is it's kind of a time step in terms of the whole history from slavery, civil rights, and it goes all the way up to really what's happening in terms of now. So it is really worth taking the time. We look at, the Malcolm X, which was born here in Nebraska, Dr. Martin Luther King, and so many that have Rosa Parks, so many people that paid the price, the shoulders in which we stand upon. And really, I just wanted to take this opportunity to say that Black history is American history. And I think as we all embrace that and get a better understanding of who we are, it makes for an opportunity for greater conversation, to stress down our fears and anxiety about somebody's coming to get you or something, all these fears that keep us apart. We're more the same than not. We have more in common than not. And I think where we have gone wrong as a country is we're really leading and moving with fear versus really what's in the best interest of humanity, and really living out and committing to fulfilling our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. Man, I think we got to focus on that, and not party, but what's right and common good for humanity. That's all for this episode of Heartland Focus. I want to thank you for taking the time to spend with me on this Saturday and Sunday. I appreciate you. And do what it takes to lean forward. Take care of your health. This year, 2022 is a year of health and wellness. Let's go get it. Let's take back what we've allowed so many people and elements outside of us to take from us. Until next time, Tim Clark, be good to yourself and to make it so much easier to be good to others. I'm out.